blip of the throttle, that unique engine note. And away from the line, Paul Jordan gets us underway. Finished P4 in the first episode of this. There he is, tucked in, all the revs, see the red lights coming on the dash. Even more important to be on the throttle and not rolling off it any way you can possibly get away with it to carry as much momentum as you can. This is Michael Evans, who of course got that incredible podium in the first race with a P2. He was so over the moon, so emotional, being followed by this man who has been utterly dominant this week on the twins and the super sports, the master of the mid-sized and the small bikes. Can he make it 4 from 4 in those two categories, 2 double wins?
Oh, Adam McLean launches off the line.
And now Davey Todd with P5 in the first encounter. Interesting to hear what Clive Paget's was saying as well about the development of these machines, and they've obviously got something up their sleeve for next year, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a new project for Clive. He's very experienced, he likes racing, he likes winning. He won't be happy with just making up the numbers. They'll continue to develop this bike, I'm sure.
Mike Brown away from the line from Kawasaki, Z650. And now you look at Davey Todd.
Davey's on board the Malenko by Paget's pattern. But Davey hadn't even sat on this bike until they got here to the TT this year. First time he rode it was in qualifying. He'd only done 3 laps before the first race.
Dominic Herbertson leading the line on the pattern.
Beautifully presented bike, the Melbourne Racing machine, as we watch the miles an hour rocket with the revs as he heads off down this steep hill.
And away from the line here is Rob Hodson on another pattern. We're underway for Supertwin. Michael Evans through Glen Helen. This will be the first of our proper splits to see how everybody's getting on in terms of pace.
Well,
oh,
something's amiss there. No.
Evans looks over his shoulder, hangs a foot off to the side, falls off the side of the road, and Michael Evans, who got a podium in race 1, is out of race 2. Meanwhile, Dunlop's come through, and the gap on Paul Jordan is 7.8 seconds at Glen Helen, which is our first sector on lap 1. McLean slots in between, 4.2 back. Still, that's a big chunk of time, Cam.
Yeah, it is. We saw Michael Dunlop make a mistake in the Superstock race earlier in the day, running on the first lap, but no such error now. He's going to make amends for that, and he's got his head down.
Davey Todd's going well, just 3 seconds down, I guess with a bit more seat time.
I think Clive Paget's been busy fettling that pattern as well this week, and I think they're probably going to get a little more out of that bike if they can. Definitely wasn't as fast as they would expected it to be in that first race.
That is a picture of disappointment. Michael Rutter exits the hairpin as Michael Dunlop comes in behind him. Dunlop just tucks in immediately, and here comes Davey Todd now. I'm not going to lie, I like it with the Moto2 fairing on it, I really do. I know it's not traditional, the traditional look of the pattern, but there doesn't seem to be a lot left of the traditional bikes anyway, Cam. The amount these things are modified is insane.
Yeah, everyone's working so hard to gain an advantage, both in their riding and in their equipment, and this is another way of gaining the advantage with the aero.
Gap now is 8.9 to Michael Dunlop, so he extends that. Mike Brown slots into P3, look 4.2 back, then 2.2 to McLean. Jordan a further 3.3 back. So it's fairly tight once you get outside the top 3. Look, from 3rd down to 6th, well, 3rd down to 5th, certainly. Herbertson now.
He could easily lose a couple of seconds in the blink of an eye, so it's still certainly a race for those minor placings.
We're well underway with the entire Cover Insurance Supertwin TT Race 2 coming in for the mandatory pit stops. Look up top left and you'll see the pit light flashing. That's to remind the riders, if you ride past at this point, you will be disqualified. So into the pits they come. And these smaller machines, as Cameron Don alongside me confirmed earlier, will not need a rear tyre, but they will need fuel. We've seen plenty of issues this week, haven't we? We've seen races decided by bikes not restarting or tardy pit stops. You've got to get it right.
Absolutely, it's crucial.
We can see Michael's pit crew standing there waiting for him, and he's just rolled in. See if we can hear if he's making any changes around into that bike. Gary Ryan's in his ear, telling him all the information he needs to know. Looks really, really calm in there. Clive Paget's just come down for a little look as well to see what's happening, see if he can get any information off that team to relay that over to his rider, Davey Todd. As you can see the fuel there just spilling over as he comes round. Yeah. There you go, P2, 2 seconds up on Hodson. Just relaying that information. Like I said before, in the Paget's pits, really, really calm, really experienced staff in here. And he's off on his way, so that's really good for him after the troubles he had getting his BMW started in the first race. No issue at all with that pattern. Back up to you guys in the commentary box.
All right, let's see who won and lost in that pit stop. We'll get some pit times here. Whoa, Michael Dunlop has lost 6 seconds over Davey Todd in the pit stop. It didn't look slow. He wasn't under excessive pressure. Well, and that was also a blindingly fast pit stop by the Paget's team. There's Rob Hodson coming in for the pit. Care off, drink bottle, fuel. Oh, he's the man they've got to catch, Michael Dunlop.
Fantastic shots of Davey Todd here. I think when the trees fly by that quickly, you get such an idea of the pace. That's when the heli's wonderful, is when it's down low and close like this. Up to Balaguer comes Dominic Herbertson. Not the easiest conditions. This man making it look somewhat easy, and now he doesn't have any pit stops to do in a safer position.
Look, even between those two corners, it's only a short stretch of road, but Michael just gets the head down behind that screen, even for just an extra second or part of a second in his effort to outride his competition.
Todd looking more comfortable, I think, on the small bikes this time round, with that bit more seat time. Lovely clear visor after his stop as well. He's 9.5 down on Dunlop, so he's pulling it back in then.
He's on the move. You can see he's visually more comfortable on that pattern in this race, just that extra bit of bike time. He's also had a podium earlier today in the super stock class, so he's certainly got his eye in. Well, I'll tell you what, there's no better person to get a tow in the super twin class from than Michael Dunlop, and then this could really work strategically. This could play into Paul Jordan's hands. Whether Mike Brown has any idea of that gap closing or not, time will tell. And there's the man that is in front of Paul Jordan at the moment on the leaderboard, Mike Brown.
Let's take a look at the splits, and he's got him. Jordan has got Mike Brown, so Paul Jordan, who's tucked up behind Michael Dunlop, has taken about 4 seconds off in that last sector. And looking at our split times here, Cam, Dunlop is on lap record pace here on the Super Twin. If he keeps it up, if he doesn't roll off to look after the machinery, he could take a new lap record.
Well, will Paul Jordan actually slow Michael Dunlop down at all? We've talked a lot about that this week. Having a rider behind you will actually pull a couple of RPMs out of your maximum on the big straights. The bike will feel the drag if you've got someone directly in your tow. None more so than in this class.
Big, safe margin for Michael Dunlop. He's been the master of both the mid-sized and the small bikes this week. It is his 4th TT win. He does the double in Super Twin over the line. Dunlop for his 33rd TT win. An outright lap record for Michael Dunlop in Super Twin as well, 123.056. That sees him atop the top step of the podium for the 4th time this week. Davey Todd P2, and Dom Herbertson just holds on to P3. And Paul Jordan, who is in the tow with Dunlop on that final lap.